Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd kind of show you something. I've been in a bit of a hiatus with building an EGS for a couple weeks now. I built a couple things, but just small stuff, and trying to get some energy back. I sort of got a little burned out, I would say, and trying to get back to life with things. And there was a project I wanted to work on. Not this, but that I started, and I'll show you where I'm at with that. And it has to do with a transport ship, of all things. Well, to start with, this is something new. It's not released yet. I did enter it for Excalibur's challenge. Not sure if this really fits the criteria much for a bike. This is the Skaar Spider. It's kind of a lower end tankish thing. One thing that's a little deceiving about it, though, it looks like it wouldn't carry much, but it actually carries quite a lot for its size. It's maybe I'll tweak this out, try to get it to 15K evenly, but it actually does say 15K up there. But yeah, this just about 15K storage on this thing, and 4 turrets, and that's really about it. It's got a couple of conveniences on the back. It does have Wi-Fi and detector and a fridge, but no armor locker. It does have oxygen, but it's not. It does not have a dispenser. So you would have oxygen in your cockpit, but not filling up your air tanks outside of the craft. So it's just kind of an experimental thing. Again, see how it would come out. I try to make it look like these feet could twist up. Essentially, I actually thought about making it look like there's a seam joint here, so the whole chassis could kind of look like it would raise up or lower down, but can't make that work anyway, and it would screw up the storage in it. So I decided to just kind of keep it how it is. So, been a while. Haven't really looked into the transport line in a long time, and that is the Transit series. There's 6 creations involved with them. The smallest of them is the Transit CH1, which I believe was running 132K storage. No, 13K. Oof, oof. Yeah, not a lot of storage for its size, that's for sure. But this was a different design method that I did with building this ship and then the Transit CH3. Obviously, you can see that there's an awful lot of similar parts, as these ships were modularly or built modularly. Modularly? Is that a word? With a modular design. Okay, we'll just call it like that. This one's kind of a one-off. This was something else entirely, not really entirely built with a modular design, but it's partially, where you have like similar copied parts like on the sides over here and things like that. And there is some modularity to that. But this one was kind of the pinnacle of it, where it kind of put everything together. The chassis versus the amount of weight that this one's carrying is not that much, where this one is utilized more. So it's kind of extended out the parts and added more of these thruster units. But at the time, I wasn't completely aware of how much thrust I needed to make this perform correctly with a full load of cargo weight. Now this one's running 3 13K storage, so it's a decent amount, 33K storage, but it's not like crazy. The CH5 was doing more than that, so this is running, God, it's been a while. So I looked at this. Okay, so this one's running 232K storage bays instead. So this one's got 64K storage, 33K storage, and 13K storage. I'm sorry, not 33, 39K storage on this one. In CVs, this would be the smallest of the Transit CVs. This one is specially designed to work with the hiatus spaceport to fit in a dock. So kind of a CV experiment. it's a really weird setup where when you dock into the station, these are visible to the front with a panel, and this allows you to walk out of the ship and into the station. So it was designed to fit a certain bay, and that's why it's so boxy. It had to be pretty much those dimensions to make it work, at least with the bays that I had. Um, with the actual storage CV, this was the Ambray CT. This one's running three 320K storage units. This was also a modular design where you can literally cut and paste this ship to add more storage bays to it. Like if I were to copy like this chunk, I could paste it or copy the whole back of the ship. I could just keep on pasting it out and keep on adding more and more storage units, which allowed the hallway inside to connect as well. Like, for instance, this thing could be way longer and carry more stuff. Um, Again, an older ship built in a different time before the current CPU and everything else was going on. So then the pinnacle of storage ships that I've made to date is the Charon CH-10. This was a 10 320K storage with some really heavy lift thrust and thrust in general. So this one's running 4 large of these extra large lift thrusters. Now, one thing I did on this ship, and I realize now, is I put a lot of emphasis on strafing thrust or side-to-side thrust. And I'm like, oh, I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, that's kind of wasteful. You don't, for a ship like this, you really don't need much of anything, just more or less stabilization. But again, it was a different flight model then as well. Yeah, this ship was fun. I like this one. So it is the best dedicated transport ship I've got at this time. And it also has a little bit of landing spots. It has no farm or any other survival functions in it. It has your base stuff, but and a bunch of constructors inside and stuff, things like that. So why I showed you all that is I started something new here, and this is a modular part-based new super hauler, I guess you would say. I want it to at least double the capacity of what the Charon CH-10 is doing. And of course I want it to be within budget of CPU limits and everything like that. So I built 2 parts of this. Now this is just a mirror. These are mirrored. I did this in symmetry simply because I need to copy these again and basically copy the 2 set of this and flip it 180 degrees and place it somewhere back over here. Now what I need to do with this ship yet is build the chassis. I'm starting out with the parts. Now these parts, because I'm trying not to waste any space. First of all, these are so it's doubling the lift thrust of what the Charon has. Each one of these modules, and there'll be 4 of the modules on the ship, have 2 of these extra large lift thrusters. Then you're going to have like at least one, this would be your like reverse thrust. So you're going to have something decent there. I seriously cut down the side thrust on this, so it's only running 3 of these. So essentially the entire ship will have, double this per side, so it'll have 6 of these thrusters just to keep the stability. And then on down thrust as well, I added those into here as well. And you'll have probably 12 of these for down thrust, I'm thinking, total, once I copy these over. But also in these modules, I guess you could say, they're each are containing 3 320K storage, plus fuel tanks, oxygen tanks, and a Tier 4 CPU core. Currently, I might move that. I might move the CPU core yet. I'm not sure on that one yet. And then what I'm doing is, as I built this unit over here, and of course I got to texture all this and stuff first too, but this is a individual 320K storage module. Now the idea of all this is, okay, first, there's going to be 4 of these. The other 2 will be mirrored in the back. I need to build a chassis to connect these parts, and then the chassis is going to be able to accommodate a bunch of these. And my minimum storage is going to be 20 to 320K units on it, but I might take that to 24, I'm thinking. So this I'll literally be adding, figure you got 12 alone just by these thruster module pods, plus another, let's see, 12, another 12 of these, maybe 6 per side. That would get it to 24K, or 24 times 320K storage, which would be a heck of a lot of storage for a ship. Now this can be a high CPU using ship, as of the modules I have currently are already at 3.6 million. Keeping a close eye on that. I don't think this is going to be a problem. If I duplicate them, I'll still be under 8 million. Plus some. I would like to get a shield in this ship as well, and some defensive turrets, not offensive. This is not going to be a combat ship. But beyond that, since I'm going to have so much room, I could easily make this into a carrier type of vessel as well. So not only could it carry your cargo, it could carry a whole bunch of HVs and SVs with it, and maybe even throw in a farm and some other quality of life features to use it as a main ship. So that's kind of my idea behind what I'm doing here. It was something I was thinking about for a while, and then I'm trying to get back in the mood. You know, I don't know if you guys ever kind of hit kind of a bit of a burnout, I guess you can say. I was just like, I really struggled with Excalibur's bike design, and normally I don't struggle with this stuff. I usually like, oh, I'll do this, or I'll think of this, and I was just like, man, if you've seen some of the videos, you've seen I tried like 3 different things, and I didn't like any of them really, and I built that tiny little bike on the last video, but I didn't really like that either. It's just like, maybe it's practical for early game, but it's just like, I think a lot of it is kind of like I've done that kind of thing already, and it's wasn't really in the mood to build another bike because I already built the Skaar bike and whatnot, so I was struggling with ideas. But this is something I've been thinking about for a while that I really wanted to build. And I wanted to like do a component-based build again. Now this may not be the Skaar faction either. I don't know yet. It could be. I guess it all depends how it's textured. But this could be a new addition to the transit line, going back to the humans, or it could even be an MCRN thing. Highly doubt it will be Creel though. It's not going to look Creel at all. They're different in how they're designed to start with. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys ever tried any builds like this one yet. It's kind of fun. It really is, because, you know, once you build one of these things and you can put a lot of time and effort, like before I even copy these things, I'll texture like this, probably in symmetry because I need the right and left. And then get it all like finished and like tweaked out as much as possible before it even gets copied and placed on the chassis that I have yet to build. Now beyond the chassis, of course, it's going to have, because I'm going to have a lot of room, and I don't know if these thrusters are even going to be like the distance apart that they are right now. That could all change. So it all depends on the chassis that's built. I have a feeling I'll be moving these around. And then it'll have hangar space too. And on this one, I'm not sure exactly where I want the bridge. I could do it like I did with the Charon and kind of keep it in the back. But I might on this one actually have a front bridge again. More like the Ambry was. Not looking like that. But anyway, it's essentially going to be a super hauler carrier combo ship, I guess you can say. So I wanted to do the dual purpose. For one thing, carrier space is cheap. I mean, comparatively speaking, it's an open hollow box, and you don't need like expensive stuff in there. I mean, CPU wise. So I'm and moving around that big hollow box doesn't take a lot, really. As in storage, it's pretty cheap CPU wise too. The big expense are these giant thrusters that I'm running. And that's what's really driving the CPU up on this. But for the amount of weight I want it to move successfully, I will say, at least a 1G planet with a full load, and maybe if you went up to a higher gravity planet, at least a half load, at least, or maybe it'll outperform what I think. I don't know yet. It's possible too. I'm going to try to, when I'm building the rest of this, to try to figure out the differences between Reforged Eden and the vanilla game. And right now I am setting it up for vanilla, but I'm going to try to make it so with a quick alteration, maybe adding some CPU tier blocks only to the, it could be used in Reforged. Now, one thing that is going to be kind of nice too, despite having like 2 of these main thrusters with all this stuff packed in here, and there is a lot of stuff packed in. There is no wasted room in these thrusters. Every single block area is being utilized. I used a lot of this stuff to separate between storage systems, and you got that gap you got to leave in there anyway. So I'm like, well, I might as well put in all the parts. But yeah, it's I kind of excited. I want to see if this works. I want to see what it'll even look like when it's done. And on the back of it too, I have a feeling, okay, now this will be your only reverse thrust on these. And when I mirror this and copy these over to the other side, they would have 2 of these for main propulsion. I have a feeling that's not going to be enough, and I might add in a couple more somewhere on the chassis of the ship to give it that extra drive for these moving forward. I basically, with a full load, I want to make sure that it can hit maximum speed. And that's the point. If it can already, that would be fine, I guess. Then I wouldn't need to add more thrusters. But I have a feeling it might not be able to with just those pods. So it might need a couple more thrusters on the back of it. It'll probably have a pretty good size hangar space and probably a pretty good size flight deck on it as well. I'll probably, because it's also very cheap for CPU, and I'll have some room in this ship, probably slap in a farm as well. But yeah, it's going to be more along function as opposed to a lot of fluff. So I'm not going to have much fluff in here. I'll probably have a captain's quarters though. Depending. You know, I'm far away from that point yet. I just wanted to show you that to see if you got any thoughts or ideas, something else that could be added to it. As in defense, I'm going to squeeze in some turrets. It might have 6-8 turrets on it to just try to, you know, shoot down the drones and things like that. But it's not a gunship, and I don't really plan on making it a gunship. I do plan on having it have a shield though, so that's, and of course warp. So those will be some standard features in there. It will have a crafting area, at least a constructor or 2. And all that kind of fun stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. Kind of fun project. I like this kind of engineering challenge, and it took a lot longer than I thought. I actually started recording building these. I was going to do that for the video, but I had to do so much manipulation of the storage bins in there. I started out and I was just going to have 2 per foot, and then I was like, man, I got all this extra space that I'm wasting in here. Why don't I try to get a 3rd one in? Well, that made it more challenging for sure. I was pretty cool with 2. Adding the 3rd one, it required me to do a lot of manipulation of things. In fact, here, I'll just kind of show you here. Most of this is our cargo extension. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a mass replace right now. And let's make sure I'm looking at, yeah, that's a cargo extension. So let's just hit that. You can kind of see the weird pattern that I got going on on the inside here, where all the red are cargo extensions, and I basically had to make all three of them work and tie them in through the rest of it, in and around all the thrusters and other parts in there, to have them each hit 320 on the nose. And I'm using all full cargo extension boxes, so no shaped ones that have less storage. Basically, I want to make this as efficient as possible. Huge amount of storage for like end game kind of ship, kind of carry everything ship, and then some, hopefully. So anyway, I just thought I'd do a video showing you where I'm at on things. There's been a lot of other creations, both for Creel and Skaar, that are out there, and I do want to show all of those that I come across and get notified of. So, but I'm gonna try to just do that like on a video a week, dedicated just towards that. And the other videos that I'll do, I'll try to be working on building stuff and not so much showing all the other stuff. So I'm thinking maybe if I separated that, because it was like today's video was like I wanted to show you this, but there's literally quite a few other creations I could show you as well, by other authors. One of those is Payton. I want to make special mention there. He's been hard at work doing some reforged Eden conversions of some of these other ships, like the Hikate. We'll just call it Hikate, like said on Excalibur stream. The actual pronunciation is really strange how it sounds in English. It's weird. But like he actually made a reforged Eden version of that, and from what I can tell, it looks really good. I'll be looking at that more closely pretty soon. And on the other video, I'll show that one, as well as some other creations, another new Creel creation and another Skaar creation, and a bunch of other stuff. So I'll just do that all in one video and kind of show you my main project at the time on this video, on a video like this one. I was asked, you know, am I going to get back to space stations or the Creel space station? Yeah, I do need to. I know how much of work that's going to be once I get started on it, and once I get started on it again, I don't want to like stop until it's done. And that Creel space station is probably going to take another 40 to 80 hours to complete. Basically what I did so far on it was just some high-speed early hull work, in which I wanted to modify a lot as well. Speaking of that, let's see if I think I got that saved here somewhere. Creel jump gate. Oh, I don't know if I ever showed this before. This was just some wacky concept I was working on. Again, with modularity. This was I was going to use this for a prop. It's not a functional thing, but I was building a giant warp gate, or like like a portal, like a space portal. But it's really big. It's big enough to easily fit the Creel war carrier or any Creel creations through it. And it was just going to be some bizarre prop. But this was done of modular construction as well. I did like this piece here. I built that. It's at a 22.5 angle that is copied and rotated over to here, and then there, and then there, and all the way around the ring. And then there's this other piece, which is a separate part, and then the one part I didn't get to, which was just the square part. Building a complete giant ring with only 3 pieces, or three parts essentially. And that's what this was about. I never actually did finish this or use this in any capacity for a prop, but it was just something I wanted to build. Try to get it looking pretty roundish, but obviously there's going to be limitations when you're dealing with a big circle like that. With the blocks, since you only have the two main angles to work with. But that was kind of fun. Literally that whole thing was, it didn't take long at all to build, because of just, I built 2 pieces and then it was a copy fest. So yeah, you can build a lot of big stuff that way. Another future project I do want to do is I did want to hit a Skaar space station. Um, I might do that after I actually complete the Creel's space station though, because I really gotta get back to that. And I also have a fifth Creel POI I really wanted to finish. It was probably my favorite of uh, looks wise at least. I won't say favorite Creel POI because it's not done. I couldn't tell you even how you can't play it yet. That was POI 6. That is this L-shaped facility. This one is just have not been back to it yet to finish it. This is going to take quite a bit more work. I got a lot of interior space to do up and the whole POI testing thing and stuff like that. So I will probably get back to this one too. I did want to finish it. I put a lot of work into it already and started doing some of the interior, but it's a long ways out from being complete. I got some big areas inside of here to do yet. Most of it, I would say. But yeah, it'd be a different weird shaped building. Everything about it's weird. It's Creel. It's supposed to be weird. It is kind of squarish though. So, but weird things like how these areas were made. It's like opposing angles. Like it comes down at this angle, but then it goes up at this angle over here, and it gives you kind of a weird look. And then it, of course, will look different from different angles too, depending on what you're seeing. It's going to look kind of different all over the place. But yeah, this is something else I did want to complete and finish as well. Get that done and out there. And that's about it. But yeah, I just wanted to, it's been a while since I did a video. I wanted to talk about a few things, kind of tell you where I'm at. And I'm really trying to overcome my little slump I've been having here with building. I just feel off. Feel like everything I build lately doesn't work, or I don't like it, or whatever. I've had a few experiments that all gone wrong. So I was getting a little, I don't know, in that mood. It's just like maybe I just need to take a break and step back a little bit and try to recollect my thoughts. And I think on the last video I showed. No, it wasn't SV. It was HV. This other Skaar thing. I think I called it the slug because I didn't think it worked very well, unfortunately. But yeah, this was basically it's finished. It sucks. Yeah, I think it looks okay. It looks like a neat little miner. It's just, yeah, I'm not very happy with it. In the video, or in the stream, it was suggested by another author that these technically would need to be down another block square, or you're going to get stuck all the time. But it's like, well, how do I possibly do that with the chassis that's here? These things are big and bulky and extend all the way back to there. I guess if I cut away the front hover engines, I could try to do that, but I just figured by the overall size of these things that it could handle one block space above where it is. I mean, it almost looks like it goes past that block space already. So that's it. One block above the drills and one block below the drills. Technically with the little trim pieces, one block on the side of the drills too. But it didn't cut it. It didn't cut it. I was hoping. I really think the range on what these bore should be increased by a block row to make it more worthwhile, because I'd never use them again. And that's a shame because it's a neat part. I would like to use it. I think this could be a kind of a fun alternative to the normal miners, but unless they have a bigger bore radius around them, it's too tight. It's too hard to accommodate such large parts like that and make it look right, without building like a bigger chassis like something like this. So yeah, so this was kind of a failure. Geez, what else? Now there's been a couple. Oh yeah, I built this thing as well. I'm not super happy with it. I don't think it looks very good. Um, it worked all right for a mediumish tank, but I don't really like how it looks. I never did. Um, Used it in the one of Excalibur's live streams. It was destroyed, but it's a shieldless tank. I got stuck on a twig and it just annihilated me. So there was like nothing left of what was here. And the twigs, running around with HVs and those twigs on. I mean, like a map like this, no problem with twigs, but on some of those, yeah, drives you nuts. It's like you can't bore them out of your way very easily, and one little twig will get like somehow stuck over here, and then all of a sudden you can't move. You try to twist around or get away from it, and you're like lodged in with the twig. When I was in that stream, I got lodged in between two twigs. Twigs. There was like one over here and like one somewhere on the back, and it happened right in front of like range of all the POI turrets that were just blasting the crap out of me, and I couldn't move for like 30 seconds until finally it just killed the core and killed me, and that was it. And that sucks because I could have went around a little longer and made it work. But again, a tank without a shield, um, not a good idea. Honestly, it's a CPU thing. Yeah. So any tanks, any future serious tanks, unless it's like, well, actually, come to think of it, Excalibur's newest challenge is actually to build a medium tank for Reforged Eden. So I'll come up with a new design though. I won't use this one. I'll try to think out of the box a little bit and come up with something else. But at the level range and stuff, I don't think it's possible to put in a shield, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of building any kind of tank, even a medium tank, in the first place. Without a shield, it's just these turrets hit too hard to not have a shield. And some of these POIs are even shielded themselves, so you gotta blow through bazillion rounds of ammo before you can even start to do damage to the thing. And if you have to back away, and it charges faster than you charge, you're getting nowhere except wasting a lot of ammo. So that's why with the tanks, the serious tanks that I or the last couple of them that I built, which would be the MCRN Ballista and the Skaar Ripper. These were specifically designed to put maximum firepower on the target, especially this one. The Ballista is close. It's just lacking two Gatling guns versus this one. It's a little bit smaller tank. But yeah, this does serious damage quickly to the target, and it has a shield. So this I think can handle those rough kind of POIs. Where something like this, not a chance, unless you do some tricks. Now I didn't do it when I was playing like an idiot, but I should have like got really close to a spot where I couldn't be hit very well. But instead I was running around in circles around it. And that didn't really accomplish a whole lot, except I got stuck and got blown up because of it. And yeah, without a shield, it's like every hit is damage. Every hit is damage, and they don't miss. I mean, those the rockets and stuff that come at you, you can strafe all you want and zip around, and you know what? They still hit you. You just can't get away from things that home in on you like that. And they do big time damage, not just at where they hit, but in a big radius around there too. So it's rough. I always try to come up with designs that work better, and some designs work and some designs don't. And I try not to release the things that don't work very well, like this thing. Unfortunately, it'll be there. Maybe I'll put it up on Friends Only if anybody wants to check it out. But yeah, this thing, I don't know what this is. It was fun. It's a little build. It's pretty cheap. It's got some guns. Good to maybe raid the Talon, but I won't raid any serious POIs with it for sure. And it can carry some loot. All right. Well, anyway, that's it for me today, and you have a good day. I'll try to get an update video in the next 2 days on where I progress with this build over here. Hopefully, I'll have the chassis built by then. Um, and then probably Friday, I'm thinking I'm gonna just show all these other creations by other authors. Just make it like a whole video about showing all those other creations. Maybe get everything spawned, see what is totally available for a specific faction, whether that be Creel, MCRN, Skaar. I don't think, yeah, the human creations are a little different. They don't, I'm not seeing people like necessarily make too many of those, at least at this point in time. But since I haven't myself either, so. All right. Anyway, y'all have yourself a good day. I will see you later.